A red notice was only issued yesterday, and within a matter of hours, our multidisciplinary team has managed to track this suspect to Kensington in Johannesburg this evening, where he is being placed under arrest.
By the time police forced open the front door, the man they wanted was already thousands of miles away. His wife and 2 daughters were still inside. This is the story of 6 days, a family nobody realized was in danger, and an international manhunt that ended with one spokesperson's words, spoken in Johannesburg, that meant every syllable. We will trace you, we will find you, and we will arrest you. Hold on to where this ends, because to understand it, we have to go back to the beginning. If you're new to Crime Deepcut, and you want to follow real investigations as they unfold, not just hear the headlines, please subscribe. We bring you a new true crime deep dive every single day. Before anything else, the 3 people this documentary is about. Ndodana Mkhanyisi Tshuma was 42 years old. She went by Zandile, an associate director working in financial crime prevention, the kind of professional career built on precision and accountability. She had built it while raising 2 daughters in a home near Bedford. She was part of the Khumalo family. Her family's statement, released through Bedfordshire Police, described what they have carried since Tuesday. During this time of unimaginable loss, we wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has reached out with prayers, messages of comfort, and support. Your kindness and compassion have brought great strength to our family. Ndodana Tshuma was 15 years old, year 10 at Bedford Girls' School. Her headmistress described her publicly. Ndodana was a talented dancer, musician, and keen sportswoman who was fun-loving and full of life. Her kind and caring nature meant she was loved by all who knew her, and she will be greatly missed. Those are not standard tribute words. A headmistress who knew a student chose those specific details. Dancer, musician, sportswoman, fun-loving, full of life. Those details come from actually knowing someone. Ndodana Tshuma was 5 years old, Pilgrim's pre-prep school. Her head teacher said. Nala was a little ray of sunshine who brought joy to those around her. We will carry her memory in our hearts forever. A little ray of sunshine, 5 years old. These 3 women had built a life at 1 Carnoustie Drive in the village of Great Denham near Bedford. 2 professional parents, 2 daughters at private schools. A portrait of a family that had built exactly what they had set out to build. That is what the outside saw. What happened inside remains the investigation. At some point in the days before Saturday, July 4th, Ndodana competed at her school's sports day. Her father was there, Ndodana Mkhanyisi Tshuma, 45 years old, known to some as Mark. Reports describe him watching his daughter, smiling, participating in the ordinary rituals of a parent on the sideline of a summer sports day in England. The weather mattered. He talked about the weather. A pool maintenance worker visited the family home in the days before that Saturday. The worker spoke with Tshuma. He was cheerful, relaxed. He discussed his daughter's upcoming sports day. He hoped the weather would hold. Nothing in that conversation raised any concern. Nothing in the sports day raised any concern. Whatever neighbors saw from Carnoustie Drive looked like a family living its life. He stood on that field watching his daughter compete. He talked to the pool worker about the weather. Nobody who saw him that day saw anything coming. Hold on to that, because what investigators found after the silence began is what will define this case. On Saturday, July 4th, 2026, Ndodana Mkhanyisi Tshuma left his home at Carnoustie Drive. He drove to Heathrow Airport, he boarded a flight using his British passport, and he left the country. Inside the house on Carnoustie Drive, Zandile, Ndodana, and Nala. Great Denham is the kind of neighborhood where patterns become familiar. The same cars, the same school runs, the same comings and goings, and then a door that doesn't open when it should. Bedfordshire Police confirmed that concerns were raised on Monday, July 7th, after the family had not been seen by neighbors for several days. Not a stranger calling a tip line. People who knew this family's routine, who noticed when it stopped. That call started what came next. Tuesday, July 8th. Officers from Bedfordshire Police attended Carnoustie Drive. The family did not answer. Police forced entry. What they found inside that house, the specific circumstances, the cause of death, the sequence of events, has not been released publicly. The investigation is live. The prosecution has not begun. What was confirmed? 3 people were found dead inside the property at 1 Carnoustie Drive. Nothabo Zandile Tshuma, Natalie Tshuma, Nala Tshuma, and the man who had been seen at Sports Day, who had talked to a pool worker about the weather, was not there. He had been gone since Saturday. Detective Inspector Lee Martin was named as the senior investigating officer. He would later describe what the investigation looked like in those early hours. A crime scene in Bedfordshire. A suspect who, investigators quickly understood, was no longer in the United Kingdom. That understanding is what started everything that followed. When the extradition proceedings produce a result, when Tshuma appears in a UK court, Crime Deepcut will be here. This investigation isn't over. We'll be here when the next chapter begins. While officers were beginning to understand what had happened inside the house on Carnoustie Drive, another investigation had already begun. Bedfordshire police confirmed Tshuma had left the United Kingdom from Heathrow Airport on Saturday, July 4th, traveling on a British passport. July 4th, the same day investigators now believe was the turning point. He was not attempting to disappear within the UK. He was already in the air when the silence on Carnoustie Drive began. Bedfordshire police believe he traveled first to Zimbabwe, his country of family heritage, and then to South Africa. He had a head start. 4 days from when he left to when police forced open the door. By the time investigators knew who they were looking for, he was already on a second continent. The question was not whether they would find him. The question was how fast. When Bedfordshire police understood who they were looking for and where he had gone, they called every relevant body simultaneously. Local, Bedfordshire Police, Senior Investigating Officer Lee Martin leading. A homicide investigation with an international fugitive dimension from the first hours. National, the National Crime Agency, the UK's lead agency for serious and organised crime, with powers to operate internationally. International, Interpol, 196 member countries, an alert system that reaches police services across every continent. Zimbabwe. Tshuma was believed to have traveled there first. Zimbabwean authorities were contacted. South Africa, the South African Police Service, the country where investigators now believed Tshuma had gone after Zimbabwe. Local, national, international, 2 African nations, 5 separate law enforcement bodies coordinated across 3 time zones in under a week. Thursday, July 9th. Interpol issued a red notice. A red notice is not a formal international arrest warrant in the legal sense, but it is as close as the global system gets. An alert transmitted to police services in 196 countries identifying Tshuma as wanted for 3 murders, requesting his provisional arrest pending extradition. Thursday, red notice issued. SAP spokesperson Athlenda Mate described what happened in the hours that followed. A red notice was only issued yesterday. And within a matter of hours, our multidisciplinary team has managed to track this suspect to Kensington in Johannesburg this evening, where he is being placed under arrest. A matter of hours. From red notice to handcuffs in a residential neighborhood in Johannesburg, he had traveled from England to Zimbabwe to South Africa. He had 4 days of head start. And within hours of an Interpol alert, South African police found him in a suburb. Kensington, Johannesburg. Not a remote location, a neighborhood. Mate's warning was direct. South Africa is not a hideout for any suspected criminals. We will trace you, we will find you, and we will arrest you. Friday, July 10th. Ndodana Mkhanyisi Tshuma was in South African police custody, 6 days, Saturday to Friday, from a family home in Bedfordshire to handcuffs in Johannesburg. The investigation moved at exactly the speed the evidence demanded. The Crown Prosecution Service authorized 3 charges of murder following what Chief Crown Prosecutor Emma Davies described as careful review of evidence provided by Bedfordshire Police. 3 counts of murder, 1 for each person found inside the house on Carnoustie Drive. He is due to appear in a South African court on Monday, July the 13th. Extradition proceedings are underway. What the evidence says happened inside that house, the cause of death, the specific sequence of events, the motive, has not been publicly established. The investigation is ongoing. The court process has not begun. That question, why, is the unanswered center of this case. Some British media have quoted unnamed friends or acquaintances about the state of the marriage. Those accounts are unverified. When a court of law examines the evidence, what was found inside that house will be presented by prosecutors who have seen things the public has not. Until then, the motive remains unknown. What is known? 3 charges of murder, a man in custody, an extradition process that has started. What is not known? The why, the how, the sequence of days between sports day and Saturday. When the extradition completes, when Tshuma stands in a UK court, Crime Deepcut will go through every development. This investigation isn't over. We'll be here when the next chapter begins. There is one more thing documented in this case that belongs at the close. The Khumalo family released a statement through Bedfordshire police. They did not describe what happened. They did not express anger, they said. During this time of unimaginable loss, we wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has reached out with prayers, messages of comfort, and support. Your kindness and compassion have brought great strength to our family. Ndodana Tshuma was 15 years old, a talented dancer, a musician, a keen sportswoman, fun-loving, full of life, loved by all who knew her. Those are the words her headmistress chose. Those details came from knowing her. Ndodana Tshuma was 5 years old, a little ray of sunshine. She brought joy to those around her. Zandile Tshuma was 42 years old, a professional, a mother, a daughter of the Khumalo family, a woman who built a life in Bedfordshire and raised 2 daughters who were loved by their schools, their teachers, and the communities around them. On a sports field in Bedfordshire, not long ago, Ndodana competed while her father watched. A pool maintenance worker says he was cheerful that day, talking about the weather, hoping it would stay fine. That is the last documented ordinary moment before everything changed. Their names were Zandile, Ndodana, and Nala.